Obviously, you were informed about this very early this morning. Unthinkable, but what was your first reaction to hearing this news?
I was just stunned. It's almost like something out of a bad horror movie, the facts of this. And I'm so sad. And I'm sad for the Hortman family. And I hope and pray the Hoffmans come through this after the surgery okay in terms of their medical recovery. And then I also just feel bad about how Minnesota's sort of civic and political fabric seems to be so torn, and our tradition of great civility seems to be slipping away. And I hope we can all find a way to get back to a better place.
And then, what's happening at the Capitol. We have lots of people gathering there. This just feels like a very different time than perhaps when you were governor not so long ago. What are your thoughts on how things have changed this much?
Well, things have become more and more polarized, but even when I served, and I was a state legislator and, of course, governor, and many death threats. And I lived part-time in a suburban home in Eagan, not in the governor's residence, sometimes with security, sometimes not. Many times answering the door or a family member having to answer the door if I was gone. And you have a lot of people out there who say and do threatening things, and it's going to have a chilling effect on our discourse, on our political leaders, but importantly also their families. Can you imagine being the child or a spouse, a significant other of a political leader in this environment? Every time you open the door, every time you go to the grocery store, you don't know who is just going to question you or who might harm you.
Hearing of the suspect, which sounds like he had some familiarity with the governor being on the board, and was that at all surprising to you? Knowing, and do you know who this person is?
I don't know the suspect, or the person at least has been named by one news outlet as the person who is identified as the culprit. Um, his attachment to the current administration will have to be explored. It looks like it was an appointment to some kind of board, but I just don't know enough about him to comment other than obviously his acts. If he's the person, they're depraved. There is something like out of a bad horror movie, and 2 o'clock or in the middle of the night, a supposed squad car rolls into your driveway, and you look out the window and you see those lights, and you can only imagine the thoughts that go through the mind of a person who has to answer that door. And then, of course, the rest unfolded in a horrible fashion. But I don't know him or this suspect.
You mentioned even when you were governor that you had these same sort of threats, and it's there. But before the grace of God go I, right? That someone followed through this time. Are you concerned that people aren't going to want to run for office anymore? They're not going to want to do this civic duty because it is something that people do out of the passion for helping others on both sides of the aisle.
Yes, I think that's a real concern, which is you may now have people saying, good people who otherwise could be terrifically sincere and authentic and have the common good in mind, say, I don't want to get into politics. It's too nasty. It's too dangerous. It's too violent. It might put my family in harm's way. And I've had a number of current office holders who, even if it doesn't get to that level, they've started to pull their punches as to what they say and how they say it because they are afraid they might offend someone or some group that could harm them. And that is a whole different level of chilling effect on our democracy. And it's happening not just in Minnesota, but across the country.
What are your thoughts on Minnesota today? Because I know how deeply you care about the state. What do you want to tell people? Is there anything that you can say to comfort anyone, or is there anything you want people out there to know?
Well, notwithstanding this terrible tragedy and this being one of Minnesota's darkest hours ever, Minnesotans, on the whole, are good-hearted people who want to pull together and try to do good things. And I hope we can appeal, all of us can appeal to that Minnesota spirit that made us such a great state with highest nation-leading levels of civic engagement and political civility, and have our political differences, but come together for the common good. It's going to have to start with the tone at the top and all the way down. And everybody's going to have to try to find a better place. And each of us are going to have to be better so we can do better.